Talk.
Hello.
Hey guys, I don't remember what I usually say. Hey guys, I'm Chris. Welcome back to my channel, Barefoot Chris. I have with me Seth again, and we are going to talk about basically what insecurities have come up so far in our relationship and like how we've like processed it and stuff. Yeah.
Insecurities. I think my biggest insecurity coming into our relationship was being scared to be vulnerable with you.
Oh yeah?
Because I didn't want to get hurt again. In my past relationship, I was cheated on, which was really shitty. So I think that was my biggest fear. Moving forward with someone and being in a relationship again, I didn't want to be hurt in a similar way.
Mm-hmm.
Or at all.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense. So how we processed that, I guess, was like he was just really open about it from the very start, about like what happened and everything and how that felt for him and just some of those fears. So just like I feel like vocalizing a lot of our fears have really helped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to share more with that.
Like about my experience with that?
No, like about like how we processed it and how you felt like it was to like talk to me about it, and I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Christina was very open and awesome from the very beginning, so I felt comfortable like letting her know about my experience early on and that I had been married before and stuff, which is important to tell someone before you start dating them either way.
Yeah.
But it was just really easy to talk to you about my experience, and I felt like I don't feel like I have so much fear with you about it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe because like due to that, like your focus was very much like talk about it, like open, honesty, like communication, and I feel like we really worked hard at that. Mm-hmm. And also we've talked about the ways in which we function too, like if there's like an argument or I don't know what else you would call it. Yeah, if there's an argument or just like something that comes up that like triggers me or triggers him, we kind of talked about how as individuals we normally deal with that, and I feel like that maybe helped you too feel like we could kind of have that trust there.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I think like in my former relationship I did not have any good communication going on, and then with Christina we have a really good communication system, so the same fears that I was having prior to us meeting when I was starting to date people aren't really surfacing anymore because we talk so openly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's what's really helped me too, because I guess like my fear, let me try to think about this. Some of my fears were just like I didn't want to feel like crazy again, as in like it's something that I was working on before getting into like our relationships when I was just dating, because I was in an experience before where the other person wasn't, okay, from my perspective, wasn't really self-aware, so he didn't really know what was like going on within himself, and so I felt like I kind of drove myself crazy and I made myself the problem. I've made videos about this too before, and I didn't really listen to my intuition and to myself, essentially, and I didn't really know how to at that point in my life. And so that's kind of been another fear for me, is just like kind of repeating that pattern of being with someone that doesn't have that self-awareness sort of thing. But before, again, meeting Seth, the way that I dealt with it is my mom and I went through like this Byron Katie stuff, and I kind of realized that, you know what, I can trust myself, but I also don't fully have to trust myself at the same time, and that may feel really weird, but basically, this is so tricky to say because it's like Byron Katie work. Basically just being okay if like I don't fully listen to myself again, and knowing that I'm a different person now than I was in previous relationships, previous interactions. I've learned from all of them, so that's really helped. But then now, like being in like our relationship with that, it really helps that we're like able to be emotionally sensitive and tap into our emotions and then share them. And that just really vulnerable communication has been amazing for me.
Me too.
Yeah, because then we get to check in with ourselves as individuals, but then also come together and talk about it. Or sometimes, like, it happened the other day where I was feeling overwhelmed and stuff came up for me, and then I sometimes like shut down and I go quiet, and then I just went into the room. I didn't even answer your question, but then I came back after and I talked to him once I had kind of done my own process, sort of thing. So we have talked about that too, where we might need like our alone time to process some stuff, but we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Yeah, and that's just been really huge for me. Yeah, and to be like allowed, like given permission, like he is really like supportive of me taking that time for myself, even though it's like hard if someone like kind of goes silent on you. I don't know how you felt about that experience.
Are you talking about like when Jared was there and we were going to the Airbnb? Is that what you mean?
Oh no, I was talking about when yeah, the other day, sorry, these ants are distracting me. The other day when I feel like I should let Nova in too.
Go for it.
Okay, but I'll tell you, so maybe we can talk about it. Oh yeah, when I really needed to do work, I was like, I had it in my head, and then you said, oh, we have dinner soon, and then I just didn't answer your question. I don't even know if you noticed that, did you? And I just went into your room.
After my guitar lesson?
Yeah, and I just went into your room and I started working, and then you left me alone, and Bobby sat with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember. Yeah. Yeah, Christina just needed to take a moment, and I figured it would only be like a brief moment where she had to collect herself, and
yeah.
I just put on something on Netflix and chilled until dinner. I knew you would be fine. I just thought maybe you felt like overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. So it's just been really nice to not feel pressure from him, or for him to take it personally, and for him to be able to trust me that I will come back and I'll have a discussion about something. If something like bothered me, or if I misinterpreted what he said, kind of thing, or if maybe he said something that like triggered me, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I totally could see where it was coming from too, because you were very stressed out about work stuff. I don't know if you want to go into that, but
maybe not too much, just because of I feel like there's other stuff that we could talk about too.
Right. But either way, like, I knew it wasn't about me, so.
Yeah, and that was huge. That was really nice. But also, I know that that's not me. Like, I don't know how it is for you, but I know for me, if he just like stopped talking to me, didn't answer me, and just like walked away and did his own thing, like we've done that in my family, where we'll have to say like, oh, I can't continue this discussion, or I think I'm the only one that doesn't, that may shut down, and like I need to not talk because I'm trying to like support myself mentally instead of like spiraling. And so I know I would take that, like have a hard time not taking that personally, I guess. But ultimately, it's understanding that if it was something that I did, that person will come back and talk to me about it. And that's all that really matters. So maybe that's why, I don't know what you were, like, were you like, oh, she'll come and talk to me after, or it's not about me? I
knew it wasn't about me, and I knew you'd talk to me after you were finished doing what you were doing with the LinkedIn stuff.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I just like, that's what I need. So, it's just like been such a like a good match in that way, and like a lot of ease there, and understanding and patience that I receive from him, and support. So
I love you.
I love you too. And then I don't know if you want to share another thing, because I have my other thing that.
Yeah. My other insecurity, I wouldn't say it's an insecurity now. It was another thing like early on, especially, that I was worried about. It was like, I'm transgender, so I didn't know how Christina would take that in the beginning, and then I'm just very, I guess, sensitive about that in a lot of ways. So Christina has never like been with anyone except for cis men, so I often will like compare myself to other men. It's just something that I just do, unfortunately. So that has created insecurity in me, but not just within our relationship. That's my life in general. It's not about you or anybody else. But it's been great. You've been so like awesome and supportive.
Of course, yeah. And again, the other thing that I really appreciated is that like from the very beginning he was just really expressive with like you shared a lot of things that of like fears or insecurities and stuff with me, so I was able to like I don't know if validate is the right word? And just like reaffirm and everything, and that just felt really good to do, so that way you weren't like suppressing any of these fears and you're just open and talking about them, and then that made it easier for me to like connect with you and understand you better and everything.
Again, just like open communication.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's what it's just come down to. Sorry, I feel like I interrupted you.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Yeah, and so just that ability to like, he's just always felt very safe, and like you've expressed that it's felt really safe to like share with me vulnerably. So that's just made a huge difference in our relationship, and I feel like we've built like such a good
foundation.
From that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go into that more, or
I don't even really know what else to say about it, because it's not really an insecurity like that I'm dealing with anymore. It was more like the first like while when I was getting to know you, and then maybe the first few months. And then after that.
Yay. Okay, good.
Very comfortable with you.
The other thing that I dealt with is, first of all, I sometimes like have like this like duality about me, I guess, and I know that I'm not the only one too, but I've felt like not enough in a relationship, and then also too much in relationships in the past. So the not enough comes from, like, it did come up for me when dating originally. Of course there's like body insecurities and stuff, like, oh, I'm not fit enough to be what's the word, attractive to someone, like that's come up sometimes, which I actually went on a rant about the other day. So unfortunately that is something that's come up for me when it's not the reality, and I am aware of that. Then what's the other thing too with the not enough?
I don't know, you tell me. Oh, fluff.
Oh, cool. It's hard because it's more been feeling like more recently it's been the fears of being too much for someone. But it used to be when I was in relationships before that I felt like I wasn't enough for someone. So I forget in which, oh, that was the other one, that I don't have my career or whatever like enough, like forward enough or completed or accomplished, I don't know what the right word is. I'm not further along in my career and than I should be enough to attract the kind of partner that I want. That was one of my fears too. And then on the other end, that I would be too much for someone emotionally, because my emotions are very intense sometimes. And then the other thing that I wasn't expecting to happen is during this pandemic, the beginning of it, I went through a bunch of my mental health and body stuff again, where I was really, really struggling with my body pain. And that was kind of really difficult for me because at the beginning of us dating, I felt the need to kind of describe myself to him as best as possible, and I didn't describe that part of me because it hasn't really been that intense since like 2 years ago. So that's why I felt like too much and not enough at the same time, because I didn't feel like I could go on hikes in the way that I love to go on hikes, and a lot of things that we talked about. I felt like some days I didn't have the emotional availability to go drive to his place and meet his family and hang out with his family. So it just was a little bit difficult at the beginning because of those parts of me, and so yeah.
I feel like I deal with that too, though. I only deal with like not feeling good enough. Yeah, and that's another one of my insecurities for sure. But again, I feel like it's settled a lot with you.
Yeah.
You feel really comfortable.
Yeah, that's how you make me feel too.
Yeah, and I try not to compare myself to other people because that's often where it comes from. So when you talk about like your career and all of that stuff, you're comparing yourself to like other people.
Yeah, and I don't even know who I'm trying to compare myself to. Like, I don't really know. I think maybe just these like expectations, like these broad expectations from society. It's no specific person that I look at and I'm like, oh, I should be where they are, necessarily. Yeah. But so with feeling like too much, he's made me feel really and again, this is some of the stuff that I've worked on before too, because I had a session with my social worker, I don't even know how long ago, but I talked about this fear of being too much for someone, and he ended up kind of getting to the place of like, that other relationship that I was in was not a good match for me, and just like, and when I took that in, I was like, okay, so it doesn't mean anything about me, and it doesn't take any of my value away. It just means that that was not the right person for me. And then, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Too much, and not the right person for me. Oh yeah, and then one other thing that he said too was that what if you were too much for like your person kind of thing. And that was interesting to take in, because I don't feel like I'm too much for Seth, but I also feel like sometimes I'm too much for my family, and sometimes maybe I am a bit much, but like that's not a bad thing.
That's only part of you that you see in yourself, and like I could be too much sometimes too.
Yeah, I feel like anyone can be too much. Yeah. And I feel like that's also normal.
Like if I start to get into more of my quirky stuff, I could become too much.
What do you mean by that?
If I start talking a lot about like spiritual topics, if I go really in depth with that, I will become too much for a lot of people.
That's true. When you go into like your little things that you love and you're really passionate about,
Yes.
But I guess I felt like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So it's just normalizing that. And then also that, like, he hasn't, again, made me feel like I'm too much at all. And in fact, like we both, well, I hope you feel this way, but I feel like we both really celebrate, like, how sensitive we both are.
I think so, for sure.
Yeah? Okay, good.
I think that's one of the reasons why we're such a great match.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what I definitely needed. Was someone that had that emotional like sensitivity and stuff, and self-awareness, and wanted to grow together kind of thing.
Me too. Oh, that's a big ant. At least it's not a spider.
I don't know where he went. I'm also sweating.
Well, it's pretty hot outside. It's like 32 degrees.
Okay, goodbye, ant. Thanks for coming. Wow, he just crawled right down. That worked. Nice. But yeah, so you have another ant on you. Sorry, I didn't mean to. No, I didn't. That just made me hurt them a little bit. Okay, back on track.
I don't think I have any other insecurities within our relationship at all.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that have popped up for me, and I'm sure like they'll come up over time again, because they're just like things in my life that like, I'm insecure about, I would say.
Limiting beliefs that just kind of get your brain kind of thinks of sometimes,
But other than that, I'm pretty secure.
Yeah. And the other thing that I love about him too is that like I genuinely feel like really, like obviously my insecurities still are there and limiting beliefs and stuff, but with my own self, but I genuinely feel, I don't know what the word is, like really good in my body when I'm with him, and that's something that
Me too, baby.
Yeah? Okay, good. So that's something that I really wanted, because I've been with people like before that just I didn't feel that safety with, and I didn't feel like that good in my body. So I just felt like there's insecurity there with me. I feel like I want to talk about the too much thing a bit more, but like I don't know what I'm missing, what I feel like I'm missing in it. Basically, I guess like I think I did a lot of work before on like owning that, like, and with my therapist too, and with my family, owning that like being sensitive is a superpower. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that too. But now I feel like I'm in this relationship and I feel that way in this relationship. So it's now
solidified
a bit more.
Becoming.
Yeah. And but also like I feel that sense of ease here with it. But now it's like moving out into the world, like still owning that within different interactions that I have and other relationships in my life and stuff, with like friends and everything, or just meeting people. Yeah.
And work eventually.
Work, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, and just coming back to being vulnerable is really powerful, sort of thing.
It's a superpower.
Yes. And it's like, it takes courage. Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like that feels good?
Yeah. I don't really have much more to add.
Okay. So basically, yeah, just to sum up, like, honestly, the thing that we've always come back to with any of the insecurities we have, any of the fears, is just like voicing them. And first, like, knowing that, like, that he felt like a safe person to voice them with, because I think that that's important too. If you ever voice something with someone and they shut you down or something, then that's like, that's not safe, and also that's not the person for you. So, yeah, I guess there's something else I wanted to say. Not the person for you, but also, oh yeah, don't let that be like the one time that you try to be like vulnerable with someone, and then if you're shut down, like there will be people that will love that vulnerability and that sensitivity. There's going to be. So, don't give up on being vulnerable. I know it can be really tough and very scary sometimes, but it's been pretty great for me.
Yeah, and it's always worth it to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Because what vulnerability really is.
Do you want to say the things?
I don't know what you say to end your videos.
Okay, so if you guys like this video, or if you got this far, thank you so much for watching. If you have any similar experiences, either in relationship or some of the same insecurities, like, please comment below and share them. We'd love to hear. And what's the other thing too?
Like,
yeah, give it a thumbs up.
Comment.
Yeah, and share if you found that like this was valuable at all for you. There's one other thing I was gonna say. To end it off.
Goodbye.
No.
Sayonara.
I guess.
Ciao.
I guess if you guys have any other questions, please let us know. We can do another video going more in depth if you guys have any questions that you want us to talk more about, any things you want us to talk more about. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, man, I should change my pants, but it's too late.
Just take your pants off.
You have an ant crawling in you. Nope.
I hope
in
it's
your
not
hair.
in me.
In your hair. Okay, goodbye. Perfect. I love the foot.